Well, welcome back to Rimshots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. I don't have my logos up here. I'm not a corporate sellout, but I have a backdrop that's covered with Molson Canadian and Coors Light logos there. You got to pay the bills somehow. Scott Shapiro, all the way from, are you right in San Francisco?
I'm right in San Francisco.
Okay, so if I walked out your front door, would I see like the Full House?
I used to live across the street from the Full House.
Nice, okay.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But now you'd walk across the street, you'd see Golden Gate Park.
That's awesome. And, it's a city I've never been to. I've always, back from the days when I used to see, those Clint Eastwood movies when he was driving the cars over those streets and he was in the air. It just looks like a wicked town, beautiful by the bay, and a great place to take part in music, I'm told.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, the venues are opening back up. Live shows are happening again. So it's a great time to be alive in San Francisco.
So you mentioned in our first segment that you guys were over in Europe touring 2019. You wrapped her up. So I'll ask a question, and it'll be based upon, the newbies that are trying to get into the business. How did you guys, I guess, get your reputation, get your team together that's been working with you to, get these shows, get this proposed? Because I tell you, Raquel, I mean, you're the second artist that I've dealt with, and she's on the ball. She's a keeper, my friend. So how did you guys do that?
Well, we've been DIY pretty much the whole time we've been a band. That Europe tour, I can't tell you how many phone calls and emails we had to send to get the shows that we got. And it was a pain. It was, I don't enjoy that part of the business, that part of being a band at all. But basically the advice that was given to us before we ended up committing to go over there was, get over there once, show them what you can do, and you'll be invited back. And so whatever you need to do to get out there, you do it. And we were fortunate enough that some of our friends in the band Martyr from Holland were involved with putting on the Heavy Metal Maniacs Festival in Amsterdam. And we reached out and just blindly, like we were with everyone else, and like, oh, wait a minute, Space Vacation, you play with Kiyoshi Morgan, right? I was like, yeah. It's like, yeah, he did a solo on one of our records a few years ago. We toured with them when he was playing with Vicious Rumors. So it was definitely like a, awesome coincidence, and they were able to get us out there for that. And then we built some shows around that festival and had ourselves a great time.
Yeah, and I mean, coincidence, but coincidence, I think not, because the music business really is all about networking. I've got a friend up here who he's a good friend of mine that always says, be the guy that everybody wants to play with, and you will get shows and you will get work. So, back to that, what we had talked about before, obviously that's a networking opportunity that a lot of folks miss.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about perseverance too. It's like, you have a thick skin in this business, right? I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to be able to take rejection on a regular basis. When we first got signed to Pure Steel Records, I don't know how many demos I sent out to different record labels, just getting, zero responses. We're not talking about sending it out to Sony here. We're talking about like small, barely known record labels, just still nothing. And then I got this one email back from Pure Steel. They liked it. They wanted to take us on, and this is going to be our fourth record we've put out with them.
Yeah, and so I work with a label based out of Pittsburgh, and unfortunately what happens is you get stuff sent to you that you listen to it, and, it might be a good band, but you can't tell because the quality of the recording isn't great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, and I like you, I've been in bands where you're sending stuff out, and why isn't my stuff getting listened to? And then you hear the old, well, geez, if you don't have me past like the first verse and chorus, I hate to say I've become that guy, but in a sense I have. And so your demos must have been at the very least top notch to go out there, and you felt confident.
It was a full record that we were already releasing.
Right.
So I had packaging and everything. And so I sent out sample, CDs and sleeves and everything. And it ended up working out, So Andreas liked what he saw, and we've been working with them ever since.
So talk to me about that label. I not familiar with them. However, I am going to go look them up, but talk to me about them. Because in this day and age, the business is different. You mentioned in the earlier segment, there's no huge advances anymore. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Give us your 2 cents on what the business or the industry is like now.
Like you, I worked in the industry for a while, right? I worked with record labels and artists and, and producers, and saw all sides of this business while I'm also an artist. And so I get it. I understand the financial commitment and the burden that goes with putting out a record. So my goal with Pure Steel was, or really with any label, was that we wanted to maintain as much control as we possibly could, because I've represented artists who have worked with labels, as I'm sure you've heard of, where there were problems where the label is like sticking their nose into the creative process. So we want it to sound a certain way, and the band's like, why the hell would we want to sound like everybody else? Like, we have our own unique sound, and then the label is pushing for this very homogenous guitar tone and some other aspects that they weren't too thrilled with. And so I didn't want to be put in a situation like that where someone's dictating to me what we're going to sound like, when frankly they're not really making a big enough financial commitment to us to do that. And so, Pure Steel has always been really hands off with any of the creative process. We had one dispute about an album cover once, and that was it. But they never have any issues with what we produce and what we send in. There's never any do-overs or remixing or anything like that, which has been nice. And the other thing is we got to keep our rights to vinyl. So
yeah, smart.
I mean, we knew we weren't going to see many royalties associated with streaming, because I mean, you do the math on that, it's like 100,000 plays, you get like $1 or something. It's a joke. So we knew if we were going to be able to keep our rights to distribute our own vinyl, then that way we'd at least have a revenue source associated with the records that we put out. And so that's been real nice. I mean, obviously working with the vinyl manufacturers the past year or so has been a real challenge with all the delays, but at the same time, we got a whole bunch of records coming in that we're going to be able to sell directly to the public through whatever means we feel is going to benefit us, whether it's at shows or whether we distribute through a third-party distributor or whether we just do mailing. So that part's been really nice too.
Well, and I mean, you mentioned the streaming, and I mean, streaming now in this day and age is really like a label will go, well, geez, why should I take these guys on when they got 9 followers on Spotify? Or I'm going to take these guys on because they have 2 million. That's kind of the yardstick these days, unfortunately. And it doesn't help the musician get paid. I guess it does. You hate that word, do it for exposure. That's kind of what it is, though, right? Yeah.
There's something to that. I hate social media. The band hates social media. We're not good at it. We don't enjoy it in any way. But it's like a necessary evil, and Spotify on top of that is now one other thing we have to manage and try to deal with as well. The administrative burden of being in a DIY band is excessive these days. So putting this record out, we were very aware of those challenges, as being our 5th record, and knowing the quality of the album that we're putting out. It's significantly better than what we've done before. And I think it's up there with anything that's coming out these days. So we wanted to put some muscle behind that. And so we just recently signed with a booker and management company that's going to help us on the road and help manage our social media and all of those aspects of things that we hate doing.
Yep.
That's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out and whether it pays the types of dividends that we're hoping or not. But just having some extra time to, basically, talk to you or play shows or write new music and not have to deal with calling venues and trying to set up tours and trying to manage our website and social media has just been a nice change.
No, and I understand, because I mean, I have my show and I have my editor, and he helps me out. But other than that, I'm head chef and chief bottle washer, right? And you, I've been on Facebook probably 2 years. It was just one of those things where I heard too many people talk about what Facebook was like and how everybody's life was amazing, and I was a holdout. You know what I mean? I was a holdout. Yeah. Some days I still scratch my head, but that's neither here nor there. So you had this first single out, and you guys are going to try to get some mileage out of it for a bit. The strategy for you guys, and and if it's secret, I don't want you to give up anything here. But what's your strategy going forward to get this play out there and get it out to the public?
Well, talking to folks like you, getting the word out. We think this is a good record. The single has been out now for 25 days. The record drops on Friday, and really from that point on, it's about getting this record out there for as many people to hear as we possibly can get, and playing in front of as many people as we can.
And I mean, so do you have any shows booked right now, or is that in the works, or how's that coming together? Yeah,
that's in the works. We've only recently signed on with our new booking agent, so we didn't want to clutter up our schedule with shows that might conflict. We'd end up having to cancel.
Right.
We do have a show in Oakland with a band called Wanderer out of Portugal at the Elbow Room on June 11th. But that's the only show we have booked right now. It's funny, we were going to book a record release show, but we were so worried that the record wasn't going to show up on time that we decided that we'll just wait.
Pretty hard to, I mean, and we sit here and we joke, but I know somebody that works for a company that does structured wiring. They're working on a project that they won 2 years ago, and they had to have a meeting with the prices going up because the price of everything has gone up and the delivery time of everything has gone up. So it's not a far fetch. I mean, and vinyl typically isn't super fast to get these days anyway.
Oh, a year, 12 months.
Right.
We submitted it, and it's been 12 months, and I got a call that actually is in customs in Los Angeles right now. So we were hoping it will actually arrive on time.
Well, you know what? Kudos to you guys for that commitment, because I know that's a huge expense. I mean, that is not cheap anymore. It's definitely cool. It's cool to go in the record stores again and see those vinyl records, right?
Yeah, that's all I really listen to at home. I've got an old school record player, old school speakers, and a stack of old school records. And typically when I see a new band that I like, especially at a show, if we're playing with them, like I'll buy their vinyl because that's the only music I really listen to. And I'll stream music too because of the convenience. Yeah. When I'm at my house, it's always just vinyl, needle, analog. That's it.
It's hilarious. Kids, and I say kids today. I mean, like if I go on YouTube one more time and see a 4-year-old playing Tom Sawyer, I'm just going to scream. They don't understand. Like that's how we learned was, try to slow the record down, put a stack of pennies on the arm. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now you can go to any website and find somebody that's broken it down in minute detail. Yeah,
I'm not a good enough guitar player to learn other people's stuff like that, though. So I always had to just do my own thing.
Fair enough. That's awesome. Okay, so I want to be respectful of your time. I'm sure you got some things to do. What I would like to do is for you to tell everybody that's going to see this. I'm going to start with this. They haven't heard. So you're speaking to somebody that hasn't heard the band before. What can they expect? Because you went through the influences, but what are they going to hear?
We are an old school heavy metal band. So you're going to hear some bangers, some rockers. There's no ballads on this record or anything like that, but it's a straight up old school heavy metal record. We are a vocal driven band. We are a riff driven band. And this is heavy metal for fans of heavy metal.
Right on. And is that a Saxon shirt that you're wearing?
It is. Yeah.
Wow. See,
it is.
Right. So that's old school right there, my friend. Yeah, where are they going to find Space Vacation?
Well, our website is spacevacationrocks.com. If you are into vinyl, we have a double LP that will be available for sale as of this week. We should have the link up there fairly soon. All white vinyl, so that's kind of fun, and a big old collage in the inner sleeve, so you might even be able to find yourself on the record if you've been to some of our shows.
Well, how cool is that? And again, I love the vinyl angle because, I'm a huge Kiss fan, and it was always great when you used to get the little trinkets there, or, you could open up the album and, have all this detail and pictures, and you just, streaming, it's not the same, but it is what it is. Scott, thank you so much for doing this, man. Very nice to meet you. I'm going to be following you guys. I can't wait to hear what's coming out. Drop us a line if we can, continue to give you guys a push. Happy to do it. And,
we'll do.
Great finally meeting you.
Yeah, awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Sean.
All right, guys. Great. Peace. We'll see you next time.
Bye.